Welcome back to Tony and Nikki on the couch for the final 5-minuter in this little mini-series of experiencing the magical love, sex and intimacy that we all so desire. So remember, if you've been watching these series, week 1 was all about trust, week 2 was all about faith, the 3rd week was about letting go, and finally one of the biggest and most important things that we could give ourselves the gift of, which most people forget, and it absolutely holds hand with love. And often people have got a not such good model of what love is, and sometimes they have a not such good model of what this word is, and that's the magic word
truth.
Yes. So
another T word.
Another T word. So what does truth mean to you? I mean, most of us will think, well, I'm truthful, I'm honest. But actually, it's not quite as simple as that, is it? So,
yeah, no, it normally starts out, actually, we always say, don't we, that, you know, are you really being truthful with yourself? And, you know, it brings me to think about some of the, you know, questions we get often, which is like, we'll either get questions of somebody who will say, well, you know, should I stay or should I go? And they will be, or, you know, who's the, you know, how can I find Mr. or Mrs. Right? And often, you know, people will be always telling us about the other person's behaviour. They'll be telling us about, you know, is this the right person for me? Or, you know, is that person's behaviour going to change? And actually, we always come back to, well, tell the truth about yourself. You know, what's your behaviour? How are you showing up? And even more importantly, you know, are you telling the truth about why you want to get into that relationship or stay in it? Because often the real truth is, I don't feel good about myself. I don't trust that I'm going to find another partner. You know, it's the best I've had so far. You know, I mean, all those sorts of things, which is the truth about why you make some decisions. And that's a really very big starting point for me, I think, about the truth to you. So that's the start.
I think it is the real biggie, you know, the fact that we perhaps misinterpret the word truth, because, you know, when we're talking about the truth, the thing is we tend to point the finger at the other person and go, yeah, well, the truth about you is you never do this and you never do that, yeah? But they always say, there's this great expression that says when you point your finger at one person, you know, there's 3 fingers pointing at yourself. So, yeah, you need to be really, I guess, looking at yourself and going, what's my truth? One of our favourite things to do, if we do, which we do occasionally, get disconnected and move away from each other a little bit. We're very good at going, okay, let's just let the old adrenaline go down a little bit so we're all back in a good state. And then we ask us sort of, I'll normally lead, because men lead, and I'll say to Nikki, you know, are you in a good enough space here to do a bit of a debrief, yeah? And of course a debrief is really a great way of getting back into connection. But a debrief is not your opportunity to tell them all what they did wrong that made you feel bad. No, our debrief is awesome. If you can really learn to do this, it's like a phenomenal trick. And what you do is you have to look at you first. So you go, okay, so in this situation, what I learned about me is, and then what you're doing is you're not making it about them, you're telling your truth about you. And in that situation, you know, if I'm really honest, you know, I was thinking this, I was feeling that, and you know, this not only frees yourself, but it gives your partner the opportunity to hear. Now obviously if men go first, women go second, Nikki will do, and what I learnt about me is, and you know what, a connection comes back into such a beautiful loving space.
Yeah, because what's the main reason people don't tell the truth? They don't tell the truth because they're fearing the consequences. So you know what I learned about me is so important, because it's like, as Tony said, that's the key. This is what I was thinking. These are the kind of thoughts I was having. This is what was going on inside of me. And that is such a, first of all, it's has a great effect on you to actually say those words out loud, but also for your relationship. It really helps you actually get to know each other really, really well. And then, you know, for me also about the truth is about really, you know, so many people in relationships. I mean, we've got a little rule that I actually brought to the relationship, didn't I? Which is, you know, I won't really have a conversation with anybody else. I mean, in fact, I absolutely won't have a conversation with anybody else that says something to the other person that I wouldn't say to Tony. So it means that, you know, I'm really committed for the rest of my life to tell him the truth. Now, that's not always easy. Because sometimes I think, well, you know, if I tell him the truth about how I feel about that, or, you know, what I'm thinking about it, you know, what will be his reaction? And I think the best way to be in a really great relationship and to have that love, sex and intimacy that you're really looking for is to not be fearful of telling that truth and to really speak it out. And we've seen so many examples of that, haven't we? I mean, just, it works.
Yes, absolutely. So let's just recap over the last 4 weeks then. So first key to the door of, and if you remember us ever doing the hats, you know, where we wore the red and the green hats, this is all green stuff. This
Green.
is absolutely green.
Yep.
And, you know, having trust the way we described it, having faith, having the ability to let go of your past and not fast forward into the future, and then be in truth with yourself. Be prepared to share everything and anything without fear of the consequences, as Nikki so eloquently put it. You will see the level of connection and love, sex and intimacy between you hit the roof, I would say. So there you go. That's it for the little mini-series. We'll be back on the couch next week with something else fundamental, profound and new, no doubt, that you could learn from. So from me, Tony B and my beautiful wife,
Nikki B.
we'll be with you again next week. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.